The Chicago Bears got to work on the opening of the offseason, scheduling a handful of, more than a handful of interviews for prospective head coaching candidates. We're going to talk about each and every one of them, break it all down and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. We got Big Kev, Bobby, C-Dub, myself, Haize in the building today to talk about these Chicago Bears. And fellas, we got a lot of shit to get into, man. The Bears got active on day one of the offseason. They scheduled a ton of interviews with head coaching candidates. We're going to start from the top to bottom. So one of the favorite candidates so far that's been mentioned just about everywhere by everyone, Ben Johnson. They reached out. An interview has officially been scheduled now with Ben Johnson. We don't know the exact date yet, but it has been scheduled. He's been considered the favorite. He's 38 years old, the Lions' current offensive coordinator. How you guys feeling about this one?
I mean, yeah, I feel good that you want to get the guys that's on top of your list in as soon as possible, probably preferably before anybody else, just to show how interested you are in said person. It's a good thing to get him in here. Now let's get him in here, sit him down, and let's look for his plan for the future of the Chicago Bears, and let's tell him our plan for the future of the Chicago Bears, and let's see what happens.
For sure. Y'all know how I feel about Ben Johnson. For me, he's number one on my list. But I still think that we got to know what his vision is. What's your vision for the quarterback? But what is your vision for the defense and special team as well? This is a team that's calling for an alpha, as many players have mentioned in some of these press conferences. And when they came and spoke out, they talked about alpha, being disciplined, not making too many mistakes, not constantly letting things go awry. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Bears can figure out what Ben Johnson wants and what does he like. So they still got to do their homework, do what you got to do to see how he is around grown men. Because it's one thing to just be an OC, but it's another thing to be a head coach. And we learned that the hard way with Matt Eberflus.
That's facts, Bobby. And I agree with what both of you guys had to say. You don't out on this opportunity to interview somebody like Ben Johnson. He's the flavor of the month, not just for the Bears, but for the entire NFL. Everybody wants this guy. You look at he turned a fledgling franchise, a bottom of the barrel franchise like the Detroit Lions into a perennial powerhouse. They got another chance to go to the Super Bowl again, and a lot of that has to do with their offense. They lost a lot of players on defense this year for the Detroit Lions, and their offense was out there whooping ass, belt to ass every week for a long time this season, including last night where they kind of stretched it out versus Minnesota and put the nail in the coffin late in the fourth quarter. It's just one of those things that you just can't afford not to do. Whether or not he's going to be a good head coach it's immaterial at this point. You got to interview the guy.
They stretched it out like Joy Taylor.
Yes. I know.
I mean, it happened at the end of the last one, the beginning of this one. It is what it is.
The Bears have also scheduled an interview with Aaron Glenn, who is the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. This is the first time we really heard that. Reportedly, he fits the leader of men category that they're looking at with as well. And that Lions defense has been really damn good. How do you guys feel about his counterpoint from Ben Johnson, the defensive coordinator of the Lions?
Yeah, it's an interesting interviewee. I didn't see that coming. I don't think a lot of people seen that coming. But I guess you can look at his team this year. They improved a lot going through the year, and they're really respectable at this point. They're like a playoff defense. So, yeah, bring them on in. All that needs to be interviewed, bring your ass in here.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, hey, you still got to do your due diligence. Aaron Glenn is a guy who's been coaching for a while now. Definitely had a stint under Sean Payton. So that's something that the Bears might be interested in because you see what Sean Payton has done throughout his career. outside of the negativity. But he's still a solid coach, and look what he's done, and look what he's established with Bo Nix over there in Denver. So it's still an interesting candidate. You got to go ahead and bring him in, and that job that he did last night, he showed something right there, especially with all the injuries that's down. These guys got like 12 players on IR all throughout the team, and for 17. The defense to hold explosive Minnesota Vikings team to 9 points, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you got to interview everybody who look like they might be interested in this job. That they look like they're doing a good job in their job. We know what happened the last time the Bears were doing a head coaching search. They headed down to like 3 candidates, and that's totally unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable because you missed out on some people that went elsewhere and have done good jobs. You missed out on people last year by not firing Eberflus. You missed out on people last year by not bringing in the right offensive coordinator. So the Chicago Bears got a lot of work to do, man.
Well, the problem with the offensive coordinator, they interviewed all the right guys. They just didn't hire none of them motherfuckers.
Exactly.
But they interviewed all the right people.
So don't let the same thing happen twice. Please don't let that same thing happen. But I'm excited about this, man. I feel like what the Lions have done, it's just weird to be talking about the Lions in a positive light as a Chicago Bears fan. We've grown up watching them, so we've seen good players come through there, but we've never been like, oh, we want that coach from the Lions to come over here. I've never had this situation occur in my lifetime.
Crazy, yeah.
That's a fact. Next up on the list, Drew Petzing. He is the offensive coordinator with the Cardinals. An interview's been requested, nothing scheduled yet. He's 37 years old. He has been described as a very impressive coach with a bright future. This is why the Chicago Bears may just be bringing him in for kind of a view on things. I don't know what to say here. I have no feeling on this one. This one does seem like completely out of the box. This is the first time I ever even heard bruh's name involved with the Chicago Bears. How you guys feeling?
I mean, his head big than a mug. I saw that. That dude's head is super big, bro.
He better be smart as hell. You said bright. Yeah.
Listen,
right.
he look like a bald head king of queens, bro. He bogus. But he gotta be, if the Bears are reaching out, they like something that they've seen in terms of how they run their offense out there in Arizona. Now, Arizona didn't really show me much except for when they played the Bears. But they didn't really show me much all season where it's like, okay, who's their offensive coordinator? But if they like it, I love it. We're going to see how it goes.
Okay, this is where I'm going to start with this logic right here. I know that the Bears got to cross out the T's and dot all the I's, but let's not start just spamming out interviews now. This guy does not have a chance in hell to be the Chicago Bears coaching staff. I know the Arizona Cardinals, they was kind of formidable, but come on now, for real. So let's not get to the point where we just taking interviews to make it look like we overdid our due diligence. Let's make the correct interviews now.
Listen, C-Dub, I hear you, but one thing I've learned with this Bears team is nothing outside the realm of
That's
possibility.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame, bro.
The Bears could absolutely
be a waste of time. It's just a complete waste of time, bro.
But yeah, it's an interesting candidate. Me personally, I would like him to have a little bit more experience. Big Kev, when you talk about Arizona, Kyler Murray, jury's out on him too. He doesn't play well outside of the pocket, which is strange. Mm-hmm. But again,
that's because he your height, Bobby.
Hey. Let me fill in shit. Won't even be able to tell a difference. Shit. But yeah, I think they still good. This is part of the due diligence process. But if we keeping it a buck, I don't know how high he is on the list from the outside looking in.
Facts. Listen, C-Dub, have you not learned and not guaranteed anything
like
with
what,
yet, bro?
I'm willing to put 1,000. He won't be the head coach for the Chicago Bears.
Okay. If he ends up getting hired, I need you to moonwalk live on there.
Moonwalk live on there. All right, that's a deal. I'll
Spreading that 1,000. What you talking about?
He's not going to be the head coach. He has no chance.
Moonwalk is
next week we hear Drew Petzing actually had the best interview in the first round of interviews.
Right, like what? Plus he does
just like Tyler Scott had the best rapport with Caleb Williams in training camp.
And we never saw him.
What?
Next up, Mike Kafka. Now, listen, I heard of Drew
Who?
Petzing before. I just didn't hear from him involved with the Bears. I've never heard the name of Mike Kafka before. That name sounds like he says the N-word casually when walking through his own house. But anyway, he is the offensive coordinator for the Giants. Interview has been requested. No interview officially scheduled yet. He's 37 years old. He's been the offensive coordinator since 2022 with that New York Giants team. How you guys feeling here?
The Giants, bro. Like, what are we doing here? I'm with Dub on this one. Like, what are we doing, bro?
Come on, bro.
What are we doing? Like
What
this.
impressed you?
I mean, like seriously, like the Lions' entire offense last season was Saquon Barkley, and this season was Malik Neighbors. To the point where they threw him the ball so much he got hurt. I'm just not interested in anybody from a bottom of the barrel team. We shouldn't even be talking to this dude. They shouldn't even be zooming this guy. He shouldn't even be getting no text messages, no letters in the mail, nothing, bro. Like, why is this even a part of this panel discussion today? Stop it.
I mean, according to word is that he also was shocked by the fact that the Bears.
I bet you he was.
Like, what the hell?
So you mean to tell me Chicago Bears, whoever is making these inquiries for these interviewees, y'all sat back looking at a Giants game and y'all was like, "Hey man, let's bring dude in for an interview." What type of stupid shit? Get out of here,
They
bro.
doing
Right,
what
bro.
HR do. Some push out 1,000 in applications. I don't need fun of that shit down. But I'm with the rest of the panel. What? Like Mike Kafka. Look, again, the history is okay. 3 years of being an OC in New York. But I ain't see much success come out of New York the past 3 years. And I mean, I seen success with Saquon, but that was about it. And Daniel Jones's ass, For me, they better not do this one.
Man, tell Shanae to stay at the crib, bro. Like, you ain't gotta just stay at the crib.
Wait, where that come from?
Like, what?
Shanae. Like, how did we get there?
Right.
Hey, even Shanae made it to the dating game, bro. You know, so
Hey,
it is what it is.
listen. I heard Steve-O's not here right now because he's interviewing for the Chicago Bears head coaching position right now.
They giving everybody interviews, bro.
Shit, I'm about to submit my app. Fuck it.
Wild behavior.
Next up, Brian Flores. Interview requested. We talked ad nauseum about Brian Flores here. Very defensive minded guy. Definitely a guy that seems like the type of Chicago Bears typical hire. Now, I know a lot of people want to see the Bears go more offensive minded head coach, but I'll tell you what, out of the defensive guys, he's probably at the top of my list of the defensive minded head coach there. How you guys feeling about Brian Flores as a potential head coach candidate?
Hey, y'all know that I'm campaigning for a head coach to hire a head coach to but if he was going to hire a defensive coordinator or a coordinator period, for me it'd be Brian Flores. I just like the way he coached the defense. That's how I vision my defense. I want them to play more aggressive, not so conservative and zone based. So that's why I love this interview. And if I didn't have my choice of a regular coach or, you know what I'm saying, a traditional coach, I would go with Brian Flores.
Yeah, I mean, he's you gotta interview Ryan Flores. The smoke is kind of clearing from the whole suing the NFL thing and the whole bullying. What's his name from Miami? The quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. At the end of the day, you have to interview this guy. You look at what he's done. None of us on this panel expected the Minnesota Vikings to win 14 games, much less be better than the Bears or even better than Green Bay. Some of us might have. We thought they were going to finish last. I think 3 out of the 4 of us thought they were going to finish last in the division. They had J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold as a backup, and they went out there and took care of business, but a lot of that had to do with the defense. The offense was solid too. It was really good, actually, surprisingly good. But that defense was out there blitzing like crazy, getting to the quarterback, intercepting the balls. I think they were in the top 3 in interceptions as well. So you got to talk to a man like Brian Flores, regardless of whether or not we want to have a head coach. Dub, to your point, he was a head coach. Like, he's a coordinator that has been a head coach before. So we know he has that experience that the Bears are looking for. And we know that he has the defensive chops that Bears fans are used to. It's just that if they do pick him, they got to pick a really, really good offensive coordinator to help him out.
And that's
damn good offensive coordinator.
That's what he's going to have to do, because last head coach, I believe he got the best out of his team with what he was dealing with. If you remember, quarterbacks is Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua Tagovailoa, but the man every year that he was coaching had a different OC. So that's not stability that I'm really, really encouraged by. But when they talk about discipline, man, the leader of men, all the cliche stuff, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. He's not going to back down, and he definitely going to make sure motherfuckers know that the Bears coming to play. I really believe that, because even with Ryan Fitzpatrick, they seen a little bit of success with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and we know that he was a journeyman.
I could see Flores literally telling one of his players, "Sit your $5 ass down before I make change."
Let's go.
Oh,
and that's
facts.
what we need.
100%. 100%.
And to add, Thomas Brown said that the Bears need somebody that's not going to baby this quarterback. I don't see him babying Caleb Williams.
Oh,
I
hell
don't
no.
see that either.
Hell
I don't
no.
see it either. No.
No, not at all. All right, moving into the next candidate, Arthur Smith, the Steelers offensive coordinator. Interview requested here.
Really?
This guy, he's been the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons in 2021 and 2023. He had a 21-30 record, and he had 3 consecutive 7-10 seasons. They do list him here as a leader of man candidate type. I'm gonna start off here. I know I've been turning it over to you guys first.
Mhm.
First of all, hold on, look at my eyes. If you hire Arthur fucking Smith, I'm going to fuck off. That's it. I'm going the fuck off. Arthur Smith, I don't even know why the fuck he's getting interviewed, bro, to be 100% honest with you. There's no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's mediocre. Like, even his name is mediocre. Arthur Smith.
I just got to know why. Why
Like,
y'all don't want to interview him?
Why would we? He's not a winner. 3 straight 7-10 records. And they just had 4 straight losses to close the season. They had no
quarterback.
No, bro. I ain't trying to hear it.
They had no quarterback. He got the best out of his. He got the best out of Arizona. Now, don't get me wrong. Atlanta. It wasn't perfect, but he got the best out of not Arizona, Atlanta. He didn't have a quarterback. And we give credit to Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel had his best year with Arthur Smith as his OC. We talked about Justin Fields and Russell Wilson and the arguments in the community. That's Arthur Smith calling some of these things. I ain't saying he's on the top of my list, but I'm saying that's an interview I'd be willing to hear.
Here's the thing. Interviewing him as offensive coordinator, I'm all down for. As the head coach, that's my problem. I'd rather go with somebody who's more innovative offensively, even if they're a little younger, and then have Arthur Smith as somebody that supports him. That's where I stand on that. I get it that he did get the most out of Atlanta for what it's worth. They didn't have a lot of talent there, but for me, if you're going to go offensive-minded head coach, I'd rather it be somebody who's a little bit more innovative, and then you can bring Arthur Smith as a veteran in there to help support that offensive-minded head coach. I don't like the idea of him as a head coach.
I just got one quick question. Do you think there was some type of innovation involved with first starting this season with Justin Fields and then having to translate and move over to Russell Wilson?
Man, I'm not going for this guy.
I can understand.
I'm not saying put him at the top of your list, but y'all said don't interview. So I'm just saying this is an interview you can. This is better than Drew and Mike Kafka.
Interview them all you want, but just look at the last 4 Steelers games. Going into they were riding high. They've scored 13 points, 17 points, 10 points, and 17 points when the season matters the most. And you still have Russell Wilson out there.
Provide the context.
What you mean? What's the context? They lost all
those
games.
And 2 weeks ago, Russell Wilson was running into the end zone, didn't slide. He fumbled in the end zone that cost him the game. Last week, Russell Wilson, in the closing minutes of the game, instead of throwing the ball away, tried to go for the first down and wasted the clock.
It's about the Bengals game.
The last 2 games that they just played. Yes,
because the Chiefs they got blew out. They lost 29-10. You just gave me 2 plays.
I'm saying yes, and those were plays that determined the game. And some of those things, and we can talk about George Pickens. Where's the effort in that? He got players. This is on Mike Tomlin too. We start for the top and we move down. It's not his fault that players don't want to show effort and make crucial mistakes in those moments.
Nah, bro, I'm not feeling it. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not about to cape for this guy. Not at all.
I just feel like in a situation that we in, we can't predict like he's going to be good if the situations would have turned out a different way. I hear what you're trying to say, nephew, but the results, when you just look at the results ain't magnificent. Like, I don't think it deserves an interview. Sorry, Arthur Smith doesn't deserve the interview. He
For
has
me, he
no
deserves
chance.
an interview.
He has no chance to be in the Bears coach. I think we should be serious with every guy that comes in here. If they really have a chance to be the Bears head coach, then you should get an interview. If a guy like Arthur Smith, when you look at his resume, does he deserve to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears? Hell no. So he doesn't deserve an interview.
Your opinion?
Yeah.
I just want to get. So y'all said my only pushback was against the interview. He deserves an interview.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen,
interview.
That's the point that we have the roundtable discussions. We're not all going to see, and you could offer a different perspective. I understand where Bobby's coming from. I don't agree, but I definitely understand where Bobby's coming from. He makes solid points. So,
Only interview.
Here you go, C-Dub.
Starting that bullshit.
Exactly. C-Dub always got to get in the last word. He don't even be saying that. He just
be quiet. We move it on to the next coach.
I gotta say
something. I'm gonna leave here saying something. Mike McCarthy next up. Cowboys current head coach. They requested an interview. The permission has not been granted as of yet, but it is expected that it will be granted. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. He is a former op. He's been with the Dallas Cowboys now for a while. As a head coach, his record is 169, 104, and 2. He does have 12 playoff appearances and 1 Super Bowl championship. How you guys feeling about Mike McCarthy?
You got to interview him. You got to. Go ahead, Doza.
Hey, you can't take my word for this on this one, because I'm certainly biased in this. I just think he's an op ass, and I don't want him coaching my team. Please don't take my take for this, because I just can't stand the guy. He had Aaron Rodgers for all those years, only got 1 Super Bowl.
Man,
I just can't stand the sight of him. I'm sorry. Don't take my word for that.
I'm right there with you. Like, okay, the resume speaks for itself. You got a bunch of playoff appearances in an NFC North that they dominated for 15 years. Out of those 12 playoff appearances, 9 of them was with the Green Bay Packers, probably even 10 with the Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm right there with you, Dub. I'm too biased to give a honest take about Mike McCarthy, because he's a op. Like, he's an oppity op. Like, he's straight from the other side of the tracks. It's his own site with Buddy. You feel me, bro? Like, so, like, I can't really analyze him from a numbers perspective, but from the fact that he coached the Green Bay Packers and didn't get much, only got 1 Super Bowl with a Hall of Fame quarterback, the fact that he's coaching the Dallas Cowboys and they've only gotten so many wins, so many opportunities to go to the playoffs even. Who knows if Jerry Jones is even going to allow the interview to happen, though, because that's his boy. He seems to be in bed with him, like he's tied to him. But if I'm the Bears, I would stay away from
choice of words.
Right.
That was a choice of words. That was a choice.
I'm giving Mike McCarthy an interview. I understand the bias. I'm a bit biased too, but I'm giving him an interview. I want to know what a Super Bowl winning head coach has to say. This ain't no football debate, but don't let Aaron Rodgers off the hook for some of those playoff things. A lot of it has been on him as well. So we got to keep that in and provide the context in that. But I'm absolutely want to hear what he has to say. I think he has some solid offensive things. See, when it comes to the X's and O's, I believe he's solid. My question with him is the discipline. And on top of that, when the bias kicks in, he's definitely an op.
Yeah, you can interview him, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to join the crew on this one. I'm completely and 100% biased when it comes down to. I don't listen. I gave Luke Getsy a benefit of a doubt, and that was the last time I give any op a benefit of a doubt.
I was mad at that.
I get ass by ops the whole time.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. So listen, if y'all want some objective conversation when it comes to ops, former Packers quarterbacks, coaches or players, I don't have that for you. I'm not even going to front on you. I'm not going to try to paint it like I'm an optimistic or objective person. I'm not. I'm against it, mainly because he's an op. And also, I just got to be 100% honest. I don't like his face. He has a very punchable face. I don't like his face.
He got a saggy face, bro. How you gonna have a saggy face?
Yeah, bro. He like, if you just put that makeup on it, he literally looks like a character out of Beetlejuice. Like, he could very well fit in with that universe.
He looks like his mother still packs his lunches, bro.
His mother may also be his sister, but anyway, The next candidate that we got to talk about, Todd Monken, the Ravens offensive coordinator here. Interview requested. Nothing necessarily coming back yet on this. And this is another one that I don't know about y'all. I don't know if you've seen a picture of Buddy, but
I'm not
he looks
gonna.
like Nosferatu, bro. Like he
Yeah,
literally could play Nosferatu with no makeup. Go ahead, Kev. My
they look
bad,
like Count Chocula. At the end of the day, this is another interview that you have to take. Just look at the last 2 seasons for Lamar Jackson. When that man came into before he went to the Ravens, the knock on Lamar Jackson was that he couldn't pass the ball. He could not pass the ball. He wasn't a good passer. He liked to run first, and then he couldn't stand in the pocket. And the reality is, he's turned Lamar Jackson was already an MVP before that. But last season he was an MVP, and this season he should be the MVP with better numbers all the way around the board, like across the board. So you got to talk to a guy like this from an offensive standpoint. There are some things that Caleb Williams can do that Lamar Jackson does. You don't pass up on the opportunity to at least talk to this guy and get some of his offensive, his thought process about the offense. Not necessarily that he should be the Bears coach, but you got to talk to him for sure.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I agree with the pedigree. I think you can look at the success that Baltimore has been having all these years. I'm not mad at it, but just be careful what type of offense you want Caleb Williams to
Bro. You
run.
knocking my lights out or what?
I don't know if Caleb Williams is built for that kind of offense, but okay, if y'all can work it out, okay. I just got a little doubts about the offense of Caleb Williams.
Well,
No, they
Baltimore
still
has
include some of the same principles in the offense. It's still included. It's just that when you add Lamar Jackson, you can definitely eat off that RPO.
and Derrick Henry, and
Yeah.
you still got a top tier tight end, and that's one thing that Caleb
They
would
got
benefit
two.
from is that they would utilize the tight ends. We didn't see our tight ends utilized at all this season. I'm biased though because like my fantasy teams are filled with Baltimore Ravens, and they're taking me to championships. So like I know what they do offensively.
Hey, the coaching resume is impressive. Been coaching since 1989. Stints at
That's
Notre
before you was
Dame.
born, Bobby.
Exactly. That's when C Dub was in his prime, bro.
He was C Dub had filed 3 tax returns by that point.
He was the OC for Joe Burrow in LSU.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's like the best offense. That might be the
No.
best college team of all
No,
time.
no, no, no. I take that back. Wrong team. My bad. But
Oh,
he
okay.
was OC for Georgia on their runs too, and now with Baltimore. So I say it's impressive. I just want to know how is he like in the locker room? I don't really get to see a glimpse of that because I'm not a follower of Baltimore Ravens. Because you can be, like I said, we've been saying it the whole time. You could be a good OC,
Mm-hmm.
but how can you be as a head coach? So I'd definitely be interested to hear him out, though. I'd definitely be asking him, why the hell you ain't running the ball more last year in the playoffs? Just a question I'd be asking to be Patty.
Yeah, I mean, I could get where you're getting at. It's worth the interview. I think a lot of the things that they're doing with these interviews as well. I think this is one of the points that Bobby's been trying to make here is that they're interviewing people. I think to get an idea on what they would do with this team, what they would do with this offense, to compare it to who else brings stuff and offers to the table. And he is somebody that could do that with coaching the quarterbacks that he has coached. So there you go. He still looks like a living. He looks like Michael Morbius from the Spider-Man cartoon.
Wow.
The
He was a head coach for Southern Mississippi, so he was a head coach in college before. I don't know if that moves anybody much, but
Not me.
was a head coach for sure.
Southern Mississippi is crazy, bro. How many
That's
times?
SMU.
Yeah, I know
That's a decent
SMU.
program.
Yeah, is that SEC or is
Yeah.
that? Yeah, so
They
that's like
decent though. SMU, to be fair, yeah, they one of those.
Yeah.
Guess we'll see. Oh, and then lastly, we got to talk about it. Thomas Brown is going to get a chance to interview for the head coach as well.
Filler. He's a filler.
Affirmative action interview.
No, it's a we appreciate you for taking it on a chin
exactly,
interview.
Yeah,
Like,
there it is.
You had to step into a tough situation, and we want you to get your shot to prove that, why we gonna not let you be here anymore? Because that's what it is. It's over with for Buddy, bro. Like, he had his chance. He just interviewed for the last 5 weeks, and it was awful, bro. It was awful. So, like, I'm sorry for him. I feel bad for him. It was a bad situation. But to go out there and score 0 points in the first half for 3 straight games, that's unforgivable. At least for me. I don't care if he was in a box or on the sideline. To score 0 points in 3 straight games in the first half of a football game is just I can't deal with that, bro. I'm sorry.
You know what I respect more? Like if they go through halfway through the interview and be like, "Yo, you know this bullshit, right?" To just kick the breeze, bro. Cause it's all bullshit, bro. It's bullshit.
Boy, you stop my interview, I will hop over the table.
Man,
You,
like, come on, Thomas.
you
ain't
let me
that's
believe,
like,
man.
That's a long hop for you, Bobby.
Hey, I don't give a damn. You got a couple seconds to get up out of
nephew,
there.
you wouldn't get mad, nephew. You wouldn't get
He
mad.
said you
'Cause you're
gotta
like,
hop
come on,
3
Thomas.
times.
You know you ain't getting a job.
Double
Thomas.
jump.
Nah, bro. Let me
Like
because,
Thomas,
think about
you know
it in
you
this
ain't
way
getting
too.
it, bro.
Think about it in this way too. Like they can, like obviously it's a long shot, and I don't even think that he gonna get it. But this could be the best trying to do the right thing, number one. But then also give him give him a little bit of more experience as he moves on through his career as how to interview for a head coaching position.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
really
set
what
it up correctly, and if the Bears screw it, when he go to the next one, he'll be like, okay, that's still experience. So I still think they still looking
You
out
act like this
for
man
him,
ain't
looking
had
out
no
for him career
interviews
wise.
yet, nephew.
What?
You act like he ain't interviewed for a head coaching job
He
yet.
hasn't.
Yes, he has.
He
Did he
interviewed one
interview for
time.
Carolina?
Yeah,
Okay,
one
I stand
time, but
corrected.
it was the same situation.
Same situation.
And he interviewed for this head coaching job last season, or at least the
Torture.
offensive coordinator job last season.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is all about resume and getting that experience, man. The NFL or just coaching in general is the long game. He's a young man. You don't know how many times the gentleman we just spoke of, who's been coaching since 1989, interviewed for head coaching. So, like, let him get that experience, man. It is what it is. Shout out to him for stepping in and having to deal with Chicago for the all season, and then getting promoted a couple of times. Hopefully, they bumped his pay when he did it each
For
time.
sure.
I would say he got a
Definitely
bright
give him
future
credit.
for being so young, getting head coaching experience, offensive coordinator experience. He got a bright future,
Was he
though.
30,
Off real shit.
36?
36,
Yeah, he's
37
still
years
young.
old.
He younger than all of us except Bobby, I believe. So
Hey, I like what he said in that in the locker room, and that's what I respect. A guy ain't gonna sit there and be like, "Hey man, we're gonna see what happened." He was like, "Look, man, it ain't up to us, but if y'all need anything, hit my line. We good." Shout out to him. Shout out to him.
I like that.
Got
Be
a
humble.
Did y'all see 670 the score float around the idea that the Bears hire Matt Nagy?
They was
Y'all
joking.
didn't see that? No, they was
No.
dead ass serious.
Don't do that, bro.
I was just like,
I don't even want to talk about that.
bro,
It's so much content.
Why would we double back?
Wait a second. I just got to say this. If this is not more proof that these radio hosts are just content creators searching for clicks, because I tell you what, in what fucking world would it make sense to even interview Matt Nagy? What are you smoking?
Why would he want to come back?
Well, the Jets are talking about looking at him.
That's
or
what
the
I
Giants.
heard.
I think the
Which is
Giants or the
good.
Jets.
Tell him to go take his ass over there. Be happy.
Why
Fair.
would the Chicago Bears want to rehire Matt Nagy? What sense was that make, bro? That don't make any damn sense.
This is the sense they want to start the conversation, and they want people to comment on their.
But it's so much content right now.
It's a lot of
Bro,
things.
this is the third episode today, and we ain't came up with no stupid shit like that.
There's so much content.
And I respect 670 the score. Chicago media in general. I grew up listening to them, reading them, so on and so forth. But that's Stretch Armstrong bad, bro.
Yeah. One of the things that I think we can walk away from this as we get ready to wrap up this episode is that with this being in full swing like this, anybody who had any questions on if Ryan Poles is going to stay in his job, let's stop that now.
Yeah.
He's going to be the GM next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's no doubt.
Yeah, we've been telling y'all that for the last few weeks anyway. So
they don't listen to us though, bro. They watch us, but they don't listen to us.
It's just background noise while they washing the dishes.
It is what it is. Any last thoughts, fellas, before we get up out of here, man?
No,
yeah,
man.
Just go to chicagobears.com, click on careers, and put in your application to be the head coach.
I'm gonna submit my app. Me
too.
Shout out to y'all, man. If y'all Bulls fans, make sure y'all tune in later today. That pregame on Chicago Bulls Central, but the live call on Shy Bulls podcast. Make sure y'all tune in to all the activities going on around the network, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Make sure you guys are also supporting all the Chi-Town Sports Central family. We got Chi-Town Sports Central, which is the general Chicago sports show. They cover everything going on in Chicago sports. We got Chicago White Sox Central, Chicago Cubs Central, Chicago Bears Central, which you're watching, Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Sky Central, Chicago Blackhawks Central. If you're a
NBA
fan
Central.
of Chicago sports, NBA Central, just type in the name of the Chicago team, put Central afterwards, you'll find us there, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-242-9336. Your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. Peace, y'all.
SP, you bogus, bro.